Welcome to Q Talk, and this is the breaking news segment. I'm reporting live from Lagos, Nigeria. I am Marvelous Achafu Kilichi, and also reporting live from our Toronto studios in Canada, Chimireze. Chimireze, what's up, Chimireze? I don't ever forget your middle name. So Chimireze, yeah. What's up, Chimireze? And Ahunaya. So what's
Please
up?
just call me Chimereze Henry. I'm fine.
So, today's news, we're talking about the guy who was murdered in Spain, in a nightclub in Spain. And Chimezo, just give us the news, please. Can you just give?
So on today's segment, we'll be talking about the guy who was beaten to death in Spain, and his name is Samuel. I can't remember his last name. What is his last name again?
Samuel LUIZ.
Samuel News. The story has it, or the news has it that his friend was having a video call, and as they were having this video call with a said friend, I think this is Vanessa or Jessica, I can't remember. Vanessa rather. Yeah, as they were having the video call with Vanessa, that was when the incident occurred, that a group of boys thought that Samuel was actually filming them, and they went to retaliate and they beat him up mercilessly, and to the point that when he was taken to the hospital, he died in the hospital. So this is not a first of or one of its kind, but this is a repeated occurrence that we have seen in a long time, and this has caused protest and a riot in Spain now. The LGBTQ community are out there and they are saying a no to this. Also, in relation to that news, here in Toronto, about 3 weeks ago, a guy named David also was beaten at a beach. It's called Helena Beach, which we call the nude beach in Toronto. He was beaten, and also it had to force the LGBTQ community also to start again to talk about this safety and this homophobia in our community. And it also raises the question of where is safe for LGBTQ community. Even in places where homosexuality is legal, we still have these repeated incidents in those countries. Over to you, Marvelous.
For me, I would just like to give a quick opinion because this is short, it's just a breaking news, but we'll give our opinions, our candid opinions quickly. For me, I would say for the protests, I'm not impressed with some protesters. But I think, to be honest, I'm no longer impressed by protests. I watched the protest video, I saw that they were clashing with police as usual. It's normal. Straight people will protest. They will do Black Lives Matter. They will clash with police. Gender Lives Matter. They will clash with police. And the excessive clashing with police is something else because I saw protesters. They were destroying public properties. I think it's bad enough that we say that, straight people, or I don't want to use the word straight, but let me just say, we say that, the straight people are this, that we are more loving than them, we are more organized, we are more decent than them, but still we go for protest and we destroy public property, and the back and forth, this thing with protest and with police, it's not even helping because I look at it that we've been doing this. I remember the time of Matthew Shepard, that was the same thing they did. Matthew Shepard, what happened, I think that was in the US, yes. In the US, where a young boy of, how old was he again? Because Samuel LUIZ is 24, and Matthew Shepard too was the same age, or 22, or he was 20 something. And then Matthew Shepard was killed, was driven by two guys that claimed that they pretended to be homosexuals, but they were actually just homophobic people that's not like serial killers, that's the word. Took him to the location, killed him, and sorry, they didn't kill him, they hit him with, I think, was it a gun? I think it was a gun, about 19 times on his head. The pistol hit him about 19 times. He was almost half dead. And it was 18 hours later that a biker saw him, and just to cut the long story short, when he died in the hospital, and in fact, it was protests back and forth. So we'll be having like series of protests back to back, and it still doesn't make LGBT lives safe. They are not safe. So I would rather think that we should just change the narrative and have like a kind of LGBTQI vigilante that can go about in protecting these people, because it's obvious that whenever we bring this case to the police are not even, first of all, they are not even, what's the word? Is it equipped or is it they are equipped pursuing these cases? But the willpower to pursue these cases is not there. You see them, even they are trying to even water down this case and say, oh, it's like he had a quarrel. It's not really about him being homosexual. He had like a quarrel with somebody. So it's like a quarrel, a beef that led to this, that escalated, and just trying to punch holes in the case and trying to make the case look like it has nothing to do with LGBTQ, whereby they said that in the video recording that was provided, they kept on making homophobic chants and saying some homophobic words, but the police are trying to say, no, it was a personal beef that he had with someone. So I feel like in the process, I feel like protest is not really working. I've seen protests back and back and back and back and back. It doesn't change anything. We're doing LGBTQI life protest matters, but still it doesn't make LGBTQI life safer. Even for every year that climbs, 8 crimes are being reported, more and more and more and more. It says that even this year alone, in Spain, over 200, close to over 300 cases of LGBTQI violence has been reported. So I wonder that where is this protest actually leading us to? Are we getting safer? No, we are not. So it is now left to us that we have to come together and look for a kind of vigilante, a kind of way that we can police our own selves, by our own selves, coming together and having a kind of vigilante group that we can police ourselves. Watch out, it is we have this, to be honest, we have this money. There are members of the community that have money to buy some equipment, buy some things, surveillance camera that we can use to police ourselves. Kind of, even if it's to have like an app that we can police ourselves and share the app. It takes time. If I can go on and on and on how steps that we can police ourselves, this will become a long recording. But I feel like there are better ways that we can police ourselves than just coming outside, going on the street, and destroying property, rioting, shouting. Like, our shouting never worked. Shouting does not work. We shout at the policemen and this and that, and we go back to our homes. And in the next 1 week or 2 weeks, people get another LGBTQI member gets killed again. Do you know how many people that has been killed that has not been reported? Matthew Doma killed about this Jeffrey Doma killed about 20-something people because before he was caught. Before, imagine, and there's people that have been killing like that, and they have not been caught today. So I feel like it's for us to change our approach. Just moving on to each and everything. Just wrap up. I know you like to, you want to say something, so just say something and we'll just wrap up on that.
Definitely, I do agree that the protests do help. Yes, the protest gives us a voice because, like, if there was no protest, everybody just remained silent. Protesting is better than total silence or neglect about the matter. But at the same time, you're right, we need to start dealing with the main issues of these situation when it comes to safety in our community, and that is why we would like to have most of the community leaders speak to them. We are not the only community leaders in our various places of residence. We have different community leaders. We want to know what the community feels that will be safe for you guys. How can we approach the matter? It is one thing for one person to say something, but for me, I feel like it also comes from the place of immigration and migration, because most of the situation we see too, or most of the homophobic crimes that are being committed are from people from homophobic countries that we know of, who, especially, I'm going to use Nigeria because that's where I'm from, right? From Nigeria, who migrate from Nigeria, come to these developing countries, and they also come to these developing countries, and then they begin to claim that they are homosexual. Some of them use our community to get a status and residency in developed countries in Canada, USA, and Scotland, and wherever. They use our community to get a status, and after that, they go on ahead to marry other go on to marry a woman or become heterosexual. I think this is high time that a bill should be passed to rescreen those who claim to be homosexual, and after claiming to be homosexual and declaring asylums and declaring refugee, and then they go ahead to marry a straight or become straight or heterosexual. They should be screened and they should be looked at, because there are so many cases where immigration is bringing the same homophobics we are running away from different countries to our very face. So I think we need to talk about immigration. We also need to talk about safety tips in our community. We also need to talk about talking with the police. There are so many things that deals with this. Also, like I was telling Marvelous the other day, I think we also the government need to screen people on social media, people who are in different countries or people who are in different states, and look at them when asking for visas. If they have seen that you have committed a homophobic crime in a state, especially in Nigeria, if you've noticed that this person in his home of residence has committed a homophobic crime, they should be denied visas. They should be denied visas and residence. Those people, when you bring them into the system, they will come into our system and they'll begin to witch hunt us. And this is the things we need to talk about. There have to be a bill screening homophobic people through homophobic slur. Just the same way we screen for hate speech, we should also screen for homophobic crimes. And those who have committed homophobic crime, known and unknown, should be screened. And when they have discovered that these people have committed the crime they are accused of, they should be denied visa. It's also the same, it's also as equal as terrorism. When you're a terrorist in another country, you will not be given visas. So homophobic slurs and homophobic hate is also a category of terrorism. And this is what we don't want to talk about. This is one thing we are shying away from it. Most people may not agree with me, but this is the truth. Because when we bring immigrants to our countries, some of them witch hunt us. You're getting? So I feel this is something the elders and the leaders of our community need to talk about. When we are marching on the street, what are we marching for? What is our aim? What is our agenda? We cannot just be marching and say, oh, stop homophobic slur. Oh, stop homophobic slur. We have to have an agenda. We have to have an aim. We have to have a request. We have to have a change in laws and constitution in developed countries. You're getting? Now you pick this one up, you pick tomorrow, you pick another person up. We cannot pick up all the whole homophobia, but if there is a fine. For example, you're on Facebook, you see Facebook notify there is a homophobic slur or a homophobic hate. They fine people. When you fine them, people will then be conscious of the things they do. You're getting? When they know there is a consequence to their action, then they will be mindful to give them a second reasoning or a second thought before they go ahead to do the things they do. You're getting? And that is my stand. That is one aspect. I cannot do justice in a 15 minutes video about the way of safety in our community. But I feel this is something every community leaders need to start talking about, the do's and the don'ts of safety in the LGBTQ community and where it's truly safe for the queer person. If you go to Nigeria, you're not safe. If you come to Canada, you will safe because there is a law, there is a system, but you're not totally safe in developing countries. You're getting. You're not totally safe. So these are the things we need to address as community leaders. And that is my own point and my own take. And I just pray that God helps his family to, brief the laws, because tomorrow it is someone we don't know. We just know him by Samuel. Tomorrow it could be you, it could be me. So we need to talk about this safety. We cannot still be hiding and walking with our eyes on our back, even in the place we call our safe heaven.
That's true, Shan. Well, that's been our offering. We can go on and on and on talking about this issue. I have a lot of things to say, but as breaking news comes, we know that something like this, it's still bound to happen. We can say, I will pray for it not to happen, but we know that it's still going to happen. There will always be homophobia in our community. And we'll continue to talk about issues like this. But one thing I would also like is that there should be, like what I said before, the LGBTQI community, I think it's time we police ourselves, because the way I'm saying it, it doesn't look like this is going to be stopping anytime soon, unless we take our, our life into our own hands, or our matters into our own hands. This will not end. And that's our offering for period. Yeah.
I just wanted to say something. I feel that's where we still need to talk about reforming our police. Not in the same way others have been saying, but we should have a police section that is totally dedicated to surveilling, or we should have our own LGBTQ members who are also in the force. So this goes back to our community, because they are not going to hire people who don't want to be hired. They are not going to hire, the police force ain't going to hire people who are not qualified. LGBTQ members, apart from sex, we should have other parity. People will come for me, yes, but our community is just turning to be only a sexual community. Our community should not be defined by only sex alone. We should begin to invest in our community, educate our members. Everybody needs to contribute. The one pain. The one pain, the pain of one man is the pain of all, and the glory of one is the glory of all. We need to invest ourselves in something educational, something that is towards the aim of the community, not just having sex, making OnlyFans and porn. That's an industry on its own. Yes, we appreciate that industry, but far from that industry, we need to look at other aspects into our community. You're getting? I feel
Yeah, that's true.
LGBTQ members should educate themselves. Please invest in LGBTQ support. Like we've always said, activism is not a one-man thing. You're getting? Activism is a collective duty of all of us. So maybe if you've been thinking of Chimereze Henry, oh, they are there speaking for us, Marvelous, or whoever is speaking for the community. No, we can't speak for the community alone. It's not a one-man business. It's an all-man business. So I feel we should invest our money. Like till today, to be honest, nobody has said, how are you people running Q talks? How are you people financially buoyant? How can I contribute? How can I help? But we are all silent about this matter. You're getting my point? We need to build structures in our community. And the earlier we start, the better for all of us. Because, like I told Marvelous yesterday, the previous Nigerian LGBTQ community, our elders, we are not the first generation of Nigerian queer community. Our previous generation, what did they leave for us? What can we hold on to say this is the thing they did for the LGBTQ community? Nothing. Nothing. And our generation will not follow in that footstep because we have a younger generation of queer folks coming. And it is up to us to build something so that when this younger generation comes, we can pass the mantle over to them, not leave them in an open, bizarre situation. Because the mantle we can pass to them is not our sexual life, but it will be the structures, it will be the laws, it will be the bills we've been campaigning for, and the petitions we've been writing that we can hand over to the next generation so that they can continue this fight with a well-equipped knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's been our offering on Q Talk for this episode. Don't forget to subscribe so that you get notified when our videos drop. And so there are more interesting episodes. Like you guys know now, we've been making it hot back to back. So don't forget to subscribe so that you get notified when we drop more videos, and we're on Spotify. And just search for us at Q Talk. Until next episode, see you all later. Peace out.